Hi, I'm Lucas, and in this video, I will be showing you how I use a memory trick called mnemonic devices to learn a psychological theory called the Erikson's 8 stages of psychosocial development. It connects to which connects to a personal experience that I've had before. My personal experience I've had before was that the first time I drank alcohol that summer was the summer of my second year of high school. I used to sneak out every day, Friday night, to go at Seaway Park. My friends and I even got fake IDs to buy cheap beer at a sketchy gas station. The first time I used my fake ID, I was so nervous, my hands were shaking, and I could barely talk. I was pretending I was confident, but I was still just a kid who was scared of the dark. Looking back, I think I was drinking to fit in and to seem more outgoing, even though I'm a naturally quiet and introverted person. Alcohol made it easier for me to talk to people. It helped me feel like I belonged. It helped me feel like I belonged. But I realize now that I was trying to grow up too fast. Today, I barely drink. My friends and I have realized that we're just happier without it. My friends and I just realized that we're happier without it. The theory, this connects to the theory of Erikson's psychosocial theory with the 8 stages, which says that people go through 8 stages in life with its own challenges or conflicts. If the stages are handled well, we grow. If not, we might struggle later on. Here are the 8 stages. There's trust versus mistrust, which happens in babies. Autonomy versus shame and doubt, which happens in toddlers. Initiative versus guilt happens at preschool. Industry versus inferiority happens at school, around school age. Identity versus role confusion during our teenage years. Intimacy versus isolation for young adults. And generativity versus stagnation for middle-aged adults. Finally, there's integrity versus despair for older adults. The one that fits my story the most, I'd say, is identity versus confusion, the 5th stage. This stage happens in our teenage years, wherein we're trying to figure out who we are. If you can't figure it out, we feel like we're lost, or we're trying to be someone else that we're not, which is exactly how I felt, and which is exactly what I was doing at the time. Okay, the mnemonic device I will be using to remember this is the PEG method. It works like this. You first learn a list of rhyming words that goes with numbers. When you connect each words to the thing that you were trying to remember, and you connect each word to the thing that you were trying to remember using a mental image. The rhyming pegs I will be using is 1 is a bun, 2 is a shoe, 3 is a tree, 4 is a door, 5 is a hive, 6 is sticks, 7 is heaven, and 8 is a gate. Now I'll show you how I connected each one to the theory. 1 is a bun, which the theory 1 is trust versus mistrust. What I imagined was a baby eating a bun and feeling safe. 2 is a shoe. Autonomy versus shame and doubt. For the theory. What I imagined was a toddler trying to tie their shoes but still failing. 3 is a tree. For the theory, it's initiative versus guilt. What I imagined was a kid climbing a tree to build a fort, but feeling a bit, but he was feeling a bit guilty at the time also. 4 is a door. For the theory, it's industry versus inferiority. I imagined a student proudly walking through a school door with a big project in hand. 5 is hive, identity versus role confusion. What I imagined was teens buzzing around a beehive, unsure of who they are and who they're going to be in the future. 6 is sticks, intimacy versus isolation. I imagined 2 sticks forming a heart, or 1 stick lying alone. 7 is heaven. For the theory, it's generativity versus stagnation. What I imagined was a parent in heaven watching their kids grow up. And finally, 8 is a gate. For the theory, it's integrity versus despair. And what I imagined was an old person standing at a garden gate looking back on life. Finally, without looking at my notes, I will now go through the 8 stages using the PEG method. Okay, so 1 is a bun, trust versus mistrust. 2 is a shoe, autonomy versus shame and doubt. 3 is a tree, initiative versus guilt. 4 is a door, industry versus inferiority. 5 is hive, identity versus role confusion. 6 is sticks, intimacy versus isolation. 7 is heaven, generativity versus stagnation. And 8 is a gate, integrity versus despair. Thank you for listening to me. This is how I memorized the Erikson's 8 stages of psychosocial development using the PEG method. Have a nice day.